Hey there, bass players. Ryan Medora here, and I'm back with a new fun lesson. Today it is just all about that bass. No treble, all about that bass. We're keeping it groovy, we're having fun, we're learning bass lines, and today I wanted to focus on the tune All About That Bass because that's what we're here to do. This is actually a really awesome theory lesson. It's a great little fretboard workout, and it really kind of like puts to use the theory knowledge in the context of a song. So I figured it was great. Plus, it's got a really fun groove to it. It has this kind of like rumba vibe, which I really dig. So if you ever come across any kind of like fun like rumba backing tracks, you can practice along with those. But yeah, let's dig into it. In the meantime, if you want to grab tab and notation, things like that for this lesson, head over to my Patreon page, and don't forget to check out my website, ryanmedora.com, for more educational goodies and packages of lesson things and all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, we're going to break down the song. So this tune happens to be in the key of A. So, you know, a great thing to do when you realize what key something is in is play a major scale. So I'm going to start off by just playing an A major scale, getting us affiliated with where we are on the fretboard. Here we are. So I'm going to be starting here on my A of the 5th fret of the E string, and I'm going to play A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, alt to descend. And so I would get that under your fingers before you do anything else. A major scale. I like to, you know, kind of keep this 4-fret span positioning if I can when playing that scale. And I'm also going to take a moment and just kind of like highlight my major triad here, my root, my 3rd, and my 5th. A, C sharp, E, because that's definitely going to come in handy as we continue this lesson. So once we have that, we want to think about what the song is doing. The song actually follows a 1-2-5-1 chord progression. So if you've ever, you know, heard about the 2-5-1 chord progression in jazz or pop songs or whatever it is, this is a great example of that. And what it means is if we are in a key, if we say, oh, we're in the key of A, and we look at what the chord progression is, it just so happens that the chords of this song go A major, B minor, and E major. And because of that, we can say, oh, well, A is our 1, and it's major. B is our 2, and it's minor, as per diatonic rules. And then E is our 5, and it is also major. So we have this cool chord progression, and it's a nice little 4-bar phrase, 1-2-5-1, or A, B minor, E, and then back to A. I'm also going to think about like where I can get some of these notes on the fretboard. It really does make a lot of sense to play this fretted A as opposed to the open A string, though you totally can. I'm going to find this B here on my 7th fret. You could also grab it here, but I kind of like to find it here. And then we have an E, which you can find here, or huzzah, we have an open E string. Going to definitely take advantage of that as well. So we're going to use this A, this B, and the open E as kind of like the primary target notes of our bass line, as the root notes of the chords. So basically, if we were to think about this song and we go, you know, it's all about the bass, no treble. It's all about the bass, no treble. It's all about that bass, no treble. It's all about that bass. There's our chord progression. Did I sing it well? Not really. Did I get the point across? I hope so. I hope I did. But really, we are going to use those notes as our structure. So now we want to get into the actual playing of the bass part. And the cool thing is that it's very, you know, systematic in a way, which is really something that I enjoy, where the core of what we're doing is we're going to be playing a triad for every chord, but we're going to add a little bit of dissonance by approaching the 3rd of the chord from a half step below. So what that means is that A major triad that we found earlier, the A, C sharp, and E, we're going to play that. We're going to play the root note. This C sharp we're going to approach from a half step below. So we're actually going to go C into C sharp, or the minor 3rd, and then land on the major 3rd. And that's going to give a little dissonance, but it's going to be a really cool and effective way of making this a memorable bass part. And then we're going to play the 5th. We're going to play the major 3rd on the way down, and then land back on our root. So again, this is really just an arpeggio with a little dissonant note stuck in there on the way up. So get that under your fingers. There it is. And we're going to use the same concept as we move through the other chords in our chord progression. So that's what we're going to play over our 1 chord. Over the 2 chord, the B, the 2 chord is a minor chord, so we have to adapt our arpeggio and play a minor triad. So I'm actually going to shift positioning a little bit. I'm going to find my B here with my first finger. I'm going to use my pinky to play the minor third, which is the D. And then I'm going to use my ring finger here to play the 5th of the chord, this F sharp. So the cool thing about that is this is a nice little 4-fret span, diddly-dude, we'll call it. And when we do that, again, we want to make sure we're approaching this third with a half step below. So in that case, we're going to go B, we're going to do the C sharp into the D, and then play this F sharp the 5th. And then we're only going to get that dissonant note in on the way up. On the way down, we just play it as a regular minor triad descending. And there it is. So to begin, we have our A triad. We have our B minor triad. And now we just need an E triad. Believe it or not, it's very similar to the A triad. Because we're using our open string, we can find our major third here, this G sharp, which again, we're going to approach a half step below. So we're going to go open E, G to G sharp. The 5th is going to be B, and then we're going to hit the G sharp, the major third, on the way down. And then we're just going to return back to A. Now the great thing about this is the pattern is almost identical. We're just taking advantage of our E string when we're on the E chord. But you can kind of see like, oh, here's the pattern on E. Here's the pattern returning to A. And there it is. It's almost identical because the concept of the part is really, oh, we're just playing that major arpeggio, the major triad, with that little half step into the third as our kind of like fun little dissonant note. So if you put this whole thing together, we're going to have our A chord. We're going to go up to B minor, then down to E, and then we're going to go back to A. And then certain times throughout the song, most of the time actually in the song, they're going to double up with this pattern. So for every bar, we're going to play the pattern twice, and it's going to be pretty continuous. So it'll be like that. Now, one thing you might notice is as I do that, when I play the pattern the second time, I'm not landing on the root note. I'm kind of using that time and that space to shift to the next chord. So as we're going from that A, we're going to play that C sharp and then go straight to the B. We're not going to play that lower A again. And you're going to use that same method throughout playing the bass line. So there it is. That's the whole thing. We've just learned all about that bass. No trouble. Get it under your fingers. Check out this tune. Again, it's like a fun rumba vibe, and there's like tab and notation on my Patreon page and other fun stuff on my website. But I hope that this bass line makes sense to you. We broke down the theory of it. You get that good fretboard workout. You learn those arpeggios, and you just practice and keep it groovy. So have a great day, everybody. Happy practicing. Keep making it all about that bass. And we'll see you next time.